Schools, teachers, principals, professors in education often talk about learning by doing, hands-on activity, and experiential learning. It is often said experience is the best teacher, and that is why the schools, colleges, coaches, trainers, everybody talks about the experiential learning. Now today in this video I'll be talking about the experiential learning and how does an experiential learning takes place. Hi everyone, this is Dr. Akshita, Bahuguna, and as an entrepreneur, I have been talking about entrepreneurship education, which entails business creation and skill development. I repeat, skill development is the foundation of business creation. Now, skill development is the foundation of business creation, and if it is the foundation, then how do we create the skills? We create the skills by providing learnings, by educating, by coaching, by mentoring. Now, how do we do that? In every sense, one is for sure that the experience is a lifelong learning. An experience is something that retains lifelong, and that is why experiential learning is something which people would never forget. Now, if we are talking about experiential learning, and this is something which people or the students or the participants or citizens, I would say, would never forget, then how do we provide that? Because most of the time I have seen the schools, the colleges, the teachers, the professors, the coaches, the trainers claim that we provide experiential learning. Though they claim that they provide experiential learning, it does not result in the same sort of learning that an experiential learning sought out to bring. Why? I think this is because they work on hands-on, and hands-on does not necessarily mean minds-on. Experiential learning is hands-on and minds-on. Both need to collaborate to get the experience of the activity. The hands work, but the minds are not working, and that does not ensure the mental presence or the presence of the student or engagement of the student within that. That is the problem. We are unable to see the part which is beneath the doors of the hands-on, the minds-on. This reminds me of one learning that most of us take place and do is that cycling. Now, how do we learn cycling? Let us see. We took the cycle and we tried to sit and cycle, try to ride it. That is an engaging activity where our hands, minds, legs, everything was working while we were paddling the cycle. One thing that happened is the first fall, because my mother was holding the carriage, and as soon as she left, my attention was more on mama chhod to nahi diya, and then it was a fall. Now once it was a fall, it means I have to see what went wrong, what went right, what should be the position of the pedal so that I can move easily. While taking the U-turn, if I put one leg down, how does it move? And then one day, one of my neighbor brought that big cycle, that old one, and it was very difficult. My height was less, so it was difficult for me to climb that cycle. And then I simply crossed the legs. Now crossing the leg is something where I tried. Oh my God, this is catchy. They call it catchy, and I tried doing that cross leg cycling. And the reflections that worked was, if the cycle is moving, the balance is there, and if I am not moving, the balance is not there. So the first step in this learning was the activity to cycle. The second step was reflecting on what I was experiencing, what is happening. Now once I reflected on what is happening, I started understanding how I need to move and what are the things that work for me. Although everybody is saying that don't put your leg down, still it's comfortable to put the legs down. start from the corner and then move. The different things that brought that cognizance and confidence of moving the cycle. Now, once we learned that, the concept and the findings settled in our mind, and the similar concepts and the findings were used while I tried riding the bike or scooty, I would say. When I tried that, the same experience of the cycle and this. So there I conceptualized, I journalized my learning from the cycle to the learning of the bike. Now once I journalized it, I started getting more confidence and I started moving to the roads. I started applying the concept of cycling, bike riding to driving the car, because that gave me the experience of riding the bike, gave me the confidence to see where is the red light, how to wait. And otherwise, initially it's difficult, where is the red light? We ignore that, but yes, the confidence was there, and then that application became a lifelong learning for me. This is a story that gave me a cycle, that how we are moving. We performed an activity and saw what is happening, the facts. Now once we understood those facts, we reflected on and connected our feelings to that. So that became an experience. Once this experience, we tried to conceptualize or journalize this and see why it happened, how it happened, and how to move ahead. Now once we know the findings of what happened and why happened and journalized it, it became the permanent learning when I started applying the learnings of the cycle, of the bike, to the different places, to the different situations, and that becomes the application part of it. And I realized, and this is the same thing that as a teacher I see in the schools. Now here what happens is, we often conduct the activity, the students participate in the activity, but how many of us try to make the student reflect on the activity that they have done? What went good, what did not? What all was done and why that was done? How could this learning be used in some other place? Are we doing that reflection? Conceptualization, generalization and application are the later parts, but we are actually missing the reflection part. If we start putting all our activities into the reflection from the students and the teachers, that would enable the engagement of the student, that would enable the experiential learning in the schools. So one word that I want to give you is reflection. Tell students, motivate students to engage, to reflect on the things, what happened and why happened, what did they experience, and this what will ensure their minds on in the activity. Whenever there is an activity, I'll give you another example. There was a panel discussion in the school. Now in the panel discussion, the moderator was asking the question and the students were answering. It was a very interesting topic and the questions were very interesting, nicely talked. Everything went good. But at the end I realized that the whole program was scripted. Because it was scripted, the students were not putting their brains into it. The teacher has given them the questions and the answer and they were just discussing. And this is what is a failure of the experiential learning, because the activity here is failing. The activity is not enabling the student to work by themselves, to search, to have minds on. Only the hands are working. So ensure that the minds are on when you are doing some activity. We have yoga classes, we do this thing, we do that. Everybody does everything. We show students movie. Now, if you are showing movie to the student, are you ensuring that it is giving some experience to them by asking a reflecting questions to them, by making them reflect on what is their learning? That is not happening. And that is why the experiential learning is failing. Activities are there, but the reflection is not there. I repeat, please ensure the reflection. I repeat to all the school teachers, principals, professors, lecturers, and every stakeholders of education to ensure in the experiential learning you give the experience to the student by making them reflect on. The other two will follow only after reflection. If we are able to do that, the students will have a permanent learning and they'll be more entrepreneurial, ready to take more risk, and when they'll be here ready to take the risk, they'll be happy. And that is why I say be happy, be entrepreneurial, and live the life of abundance. And if you want to pursue more of Unbox Entrepreneurship with us, keep liking, subscribing, and following us. And don't forget to share it with your friends, families, and fellows. Thank you.